Hi, I'm Vern Sanders, and this is 52 Anthems, and this is the video, the rehearsal video for Be Sill My Soul, arranged by Dan Bird and published by Fred Bock Music Company. Now, if you looked at the executive summary and you've looked at For the Director, you'll know that there's the issue here is making sure that the singers understand this is art music, not just a hymn arrangement. So what you want to do is show off the singers in this piece. So your rehearsal needs to proceed from the fact that the singers need to just be heroes here. You're going to need to make some decisions about the oboe and the keyboard. And the oboe, basically have a talk with the oboe and make some decisions about how you want this opening, because the opening is going to set the stage for everything that comes. So when you rehearse with the oboe, or when you talk through it, even when you hand out the part, make sure you're clear with the oboe about what you're trying to achieve in the opening, and then again at the end, but particularly the opening, because that's going to set the stage. With the keyboard player, you want to make sure that they understand their three parts of the puzzle here, and I talked about that in the accompaniment tape, or the instrumental tape, which you can listen to for more details. But for the singers, we start from a lyrical place and we get more full-voiced and more dramatic as we go forward in the piece. So you want to spend a lot of time in your rehearsal on this piece about tone and about what I would call vocal attitude. You want to inject drama into this mix. And you can do that with the tone and the dramatic choices that you make about how you shape the phrases. And can't get away from a motorcycle, sorry. All right, so let's break this down into 3 rehearsals. The first rehearsal, I think you want to establish that this is art music. And so let them sing through the piece, that's fine, and it will read fairly simply. The last page may cause you a few problems, but by and large, it'll read straightforward. The first page will also cause a little bit of trouble because they'll have trouble getting in because it's not square. Don't let them obsess about that. But you're going to want at some point during this rehearsal process, probably in rehearsal number 3, maybe probably in rehearsal 2, you're going to want to establish just when they come in and when they don't come in and what they listen for. So, so the first rehearsal though, just sing through it, and then I would only work the middle, verse 2 and verse 3. This is where they can sing with a big tone. It's very dramatic. You have a big keyboard part in verse 2, and then this kind of undulating support in verse 3. So you want to work on the tone here. You want to work on the dramatic sensibilities. You want to work on all of the communicative skills that you can. Now, in the second rehearsal, I would not even touch verse 2 and verse 3. I would spend all my time on the beginning and the end, because it's totally different. This now is lyrical, it's chant-based, it's evocative, it's supple, it's just different than the middle. And this is where you want to insist on how long it is that they wait when they come in, what their oral cues are, whether they're listening for a keyboard note, whether they're listening for an oboe note, whether they actually have to count. Perish the thought, but you want to make sure that they get this kind of lyrical, supple tone, chant-based thing, and that they know when to enter. And I would actually rehearse a lot of this, in this rehearsal, I rehearse a lot of this a cappella, so that they get away from worrying about what the groupings of 2s and 3s are. Rehearse it a cappella, and then take it back into the music and teach them when they enter and when they don't. Then at the end of the second rehearsal, I think you want to run the whole thing for continuity. Hopefully you can get through from beginning to end without a problem. If not, you want to stop and fix the transitions, which may be an issue. But basically you want to get from the beginning to the end and see what the problems are. So then the third rehearsal is continuity, and continuity with instruments. So the first part of it, you want to have continuity And you want to work on the transitions to make sure they can get from the first verse to the second verse, from the second verse to the third verse. They know what they're doing. They know the internal and dramatic and tone quality changes they need to make. And that at the end, it's still dramatic, even though it's very soft. Then the second half of that rehearsal, or it could be rehearsal 4 if necessary, now you bring the oboe in. And so they get to hear the color, and they know what that's going to sound like, so it's not a surprise. Yes, you can do that in a warm-up rehearsal on Sunday morning, because the oboe part's not that hard. But if you do, you better leave enough time for all of the putting together of this, so that if the oboe doesn't come in and play exactly what you want, you better be able to have enough time to fix that, rather than just having to settle because you only have 10 minutes to warm up. So you may need 2 rehearsals for continuity, but I think it can be done in 1 if your choir is average or above average. So that's your rehearsal plan. And this is Be Still My Soul, arranged by Dan Bird, published by Fred Bock Music Company. And again, this is all part of 52 Anthems. Thanks.